Jamhuri.
All right, thank you, Anyama. Um, I'm going to keep mine short, and I want to begin with the idea that had come up earlier that politics is ultimately emotional, and when people get on the ballot, they don't usually vote with their head; they vote with their hearts, and so we have to pull on those heartstrings. But I think equally, because it is emotional, those of us that are truly dedicated to the movement must also guard our emotion. We must also guard our emotions, um, and manage our emotions. And that's not to say that we will not be emotional. In fact, it would, as Weston said earlier, it would be psychopathic to engage in these matters without emotion. We are here because we care, and that is an emotion. Um, I was looking at this Easy Streets X, and all the vitriol that was being meted on the people of Luo Nyanza. Um, and I noticed actually that I guess the Twitter algorithm was working such that those posts were being ranked highly, and that's not new. Social media works in such a way that the posts that get most engagement are rage posts. So Mark Ora is spot on. That what is the we're being baited into this kind of petty conversation. It's very juicy. It's very tempting. And I guess and what I had to remind myself is that there is an individual responsibility on my part. There's an individual responsibility on your part. That when you see this and it makes you angry, how you respond to that is a matter of individual choice. How much attention you give it, and whether you throw water on that fire or you throw gasoline on that fire, uh, that is your choice. And if you're for the movement, you're probably going to be either throwing water on the fire or at least or leaving the fire to die on its own. So I would implore all of us, and I think someone said this earlier, on the matter of tribal bigotry, all of us at the individual level, to seek within ourselves to make sure that we are not making things worse, we're making things better. Um, so that's one part about emotions and us being responsible for our own. Um, the other point that I wanted to emphasize is what Weston said earlier. I'm also getting the sentiment in a lot of X spaces that we think that civic education is something that is needed only among a certain class of people. When in reality, again, kwa hizi streets za X, man, there is so much ignorance. There is so much. There are so many fragile egos, and I really, I think we need to also, kind of save ourselves from that notion, that elitist notion, that somehow sisi tumefika and we need to go to the ground and save those people, those so-called mamambogas and so-called watu wa boda, so-called watu wa mjengo. The wisdom of our people is amazing. I was alive, though I was a child, in 2002, um, when people were clamoring for a Kenya that is better than what we had had under the 24-year dictatorship of Moi, and Sabasaba was a thing in the 90s, and it was carried out by the very people that we may now refer to as not as woke as we are. There's a lot of wisdom out there. We need to tap into it. And there's a lot of wisdom also on X, but there's also a lot of foolishness that we also need to counter, and to there's a lot of education that is needed even among people who are connected to internet, have Wi-Fi, have smartphones, but they also need civic education as much as any other person. um, I have a lot to say, but I'll end it there. Thank you so much for hosting this.